Hello, guys. I am Dr. Danielle Russell, and I am a physical therapist. I specialize in working with CrossFit athletes and also in pregnancy and postpartum fitness. I am a pelvic floor physical therapist as well as an orthopedic physical therapist. So I am here going to talk about some modifications for the workout, the CrossFit Open 25.2. So let's talk about the workout first, and then we're going to talk about some different modification options. So 25.2 is a repeat of 22.3. So you may be familiar with this workout already. But the workout is going to be 21 pull-ups into 42 double unders into 21 thrusters. And then we go to 18 chest to bar pull-ups, 36 double unders, and then 18 thrusters at a higher weight. And then we go into 15 bar muscle ups, into 30 double unders, and then into 15 thrusters. Okay, so let's talk about some different things regarding this workout. So one is that remembering that pregnancy and postpartum is a season. This is not going to last forever. We're not going to have to modify workouts forever. And also that the way that I view things is that, and the way that the research kind of supports, is that it's okay to scale things as much as necessary, but as little as possible. And that means that what we're looking for is, are we having symptoms with these workouts? Are we feeling like there is pressure in our pelvic floor or leaking or a lot of coning that isn't correcting with you attempting to correct it? Those are maybe some signs that we might want to scale back those options. But just scaling a workout just because you're pregnant or just because you're postpartum is not what we're looking for here. So the idea here is that we are scaling when we need to, but we are trying to keep the stimulus as close to the workout as possible. So that being said, let's talk about the pulling motions. So if we're going down the way that the workout is written, we have pull-ups, then we have chest to bar pull-ups, and then we have bar muscle ups. So there are plenty of pregnant athletes out there that are able to do bar muscle ups into a pretty decent ways into their pregnancy, and be able to do them well and be able to not have any pelvic floor symptoms or any issues with like coning or anything like that, anything that we would be concerned about. So before we like jump on the train of like, you have to scale this, maybe not. We may not have to scale it, but for our comfort level and or to make sure that we are doing the best that we can for our body, here's some different options for scaling options for that pulling motion. So obviously we have the bar muscle up, which would be that very end of the workout. We know that you're going to be fatigued because you've already done everything else to that point. And so bar muscle ups may or may not be a good choice at that point. And if they are, and you only do a few, and that is where you feel comfortable, great, awesome, proud of you for doing it. The next thing down would be chest to bar pull-ups. And that is, again, if you are feeling good, if you're able to maintain that good core connection and you feel good about what you're doing, by all means, keep doing that. And I think that doing chest to bar pull-ups in place of those bar muscle ups would be a good option as well. If that's not a good option for you, then pull-ups are another great option. Again, we're looking for, are we having any symptoms? Are we uncomfortable? If that's the case, then we want to drop that skill down. Jumping pull-ups is the first movement in the scaled option. And I think that would be a fair option for pregnant women as long as it feels good to do that jumping motion. If that is not feeling good, then I would say that a ring row is a really solid option for all levels of that. So you can start off with 21 ring rows and you go through the rest, and then you go to the where it's supposed to be chest to bar and you do ring rows instead. I think that that's a really solid option. If that doesn't feel good, or you want to maintain more of that upright posture and you want to do more of like a pull down that direction, I think a lat pull down where you have a band and you're pulling down with like a PVC would be a really good option to maintain that vertical pull. Another really great option would be to set up a barbell on the rack and do rack pulls that are not rack pulls, but under the barbell pull-ups that way. I think that would be a really solid option too. And then if none of those feel great and you still want to be able to do the workout, because that's awesome, then I think that the best option is going to be like a bent over row or even like a horizontal row with like a band. You're still getting that row position. You're still strengthening those lats, but it is going to help you to maintain a better midline. Okay, let's talk about double unders. So double unders are one of the things that I know that a lot of women just in general have an issue with. If double unders are going to cause you to have pelvic floor symptoms, including leaking, then I think that it would be a better option to not do the double unders, unless that is okay with you and you are okay with leaking during that, which to each their own. But if double unders are bothering you, you can do single unders, but again, you're still jumping in that. The difference is that you may not be jumping as hard because you may not have to jump as high to clear the rope. So I think that single unders might be a good option if that feels better on your pelvic floor and you're not leaking. Line hops where you're jumping forward and backwards over the line may be a good option as well. And then step down from there would be like a penguin hop where you are kind of jumping and then tapping your legs. I think that that's a good option as well. It's a little bit more controlled. You're not dealing with swinging the rope, that sort of thing. From there, a quick box tap where you're kind of going quick back and forth with your legs, would be a really good option too. We're trying to keep it as close to what the workout looks like as possible without having to modify everything if we can possibly do it. And then if none of those options for the double under modification feel good, none of that sounds like a good option for you, then doing a steady state cardio like a bike would be a really great option to make sure that we are still taking care of our pelvic floor, but getting you to be able to participate in the workout. Okay, so let's talk about the thrusters. So again, many pregnant women, many postpartum women are able to do the thrusters at these weights with no problem. And if that's you and you feel great about that, then do it. If that is not you, then we have some options. So we can lower that weight of the thruster. If that first weight is where you want to stay, I think that's solid. Keep doing it. If you feel good at that second weight and that's what you want to do, you want to go the first weight and then the second weight, I think that's a great option as well. If you want to lower the weight for all of them, great. I love it. If getting into a full depth squat doesn't feel good, then I think that thrusting to a box, so you are going to tap your bottom on a box and then press overhead as you come up in that traditional thruster pattern, I think that that's a great option as well. If the weight is going to be a problem and you want to still maintain that thruster weight, that thruster position, doing a med ball thruster or a med ball thruster to a box would be a good option. And then if none of that feels super awesome, but you want to continue to do the thing, then doing box squats and or doing like a push press, I think is a really good option too. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the different movements. At the end of the day, we want to scale as much as we need to, but as little as we possibly can to maintain the stimulus of the workout. We are watching for pelvic floor symptoms. Do we have heaviness? Do we have leaking? Are we not maintaining a good midline and we feel like our core is just not in it? If those things are happening, we need to modify. And be willing, so we're going into the workout with a plan, but be willing to modify that plan mid-workout if it's just not working out. It's okay to admit that this is maybe not the season to be pushing the envelope, and that's okay. If it feels good and you feel good about doing it, then by all means do it. But if you are having symptoms and it just doesn't feel right, it's okay for you to take a step back and for you to move on to a different movement, or even say, hey, I think that I'm just not into it today. And that's okay. And of course, adjusting the weight and or the rep scheme as needed to fit what you need. At the end of the day, we want you to be able to be happy and be fit and be able to continue to move throughout your pregnancy and or throughout your postpartum journey. And doing these workouts are not the end all be all. And more than likely, you are not going to be going to the CrossFit Games. So this score for this doesn't even matter. It's fun. Please go do it with your friends if you would like to, but let's not put so much pressure on it that you feel like you have to RX the workout if it's not a good fit for where you are. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to reach out and ask questions. I'm happy to answer whatever questions you have. And if you need some help modifying and these things don't work out, just let me know. Have a great day, guys, and have a great time with 25.2.